take a step in?
Good.
Okay.
Anything else?
Yeah. I got it for now.
You need a cheeseburger? You want a cup of coffee?
I
You
told
know?
that to David Bullock on game day. I was like, hey, can you take a step in? He's like, you jerk.
I would not do that. I would not do that. But we just, again, wrapped up our typical Wednesday practice. Obviously, you know about the injury to Panay and how we've, Brady's stepped in there, done a really good job. It doesn't change what we do at all. I just think it kind of galvanizes the team when you go through something like that, something as difficult as that. But overall, thought that the focus has been on our opponent. As much as we had to shake off a tough loss, early in the season, you also have to shake away, a good win when you're in the middle of conference play, because this thing only gets harder. We're going to a place with a team that's really hot. They have explosive players on both sides of the ball. They present schematic differences and difficulties and challenges that come with that. So just overall, just very positive, good energy, good leadership. And we've got to keep demanding that. And we know that for us, the secret sauce is process. So,
how quickly do they get the ball out at quarterback? Is there a way that you can maybe do something different? You obviously love to hit the quarterback, but can you do something else to kind of impact the throws besides just hitting them?
you have to. The first thing, you got to make sure the picture is changing, right? You've got to mix up exactly what you do in terms of your pass rush and your pressures. Sometimes you've got to play coverage. Sometimes you just have to cover the guys, and just play football. But I think with a quarterback as skilled as he is, a system that's, they're so ingrained in that system that if you give them a picture, they will have answers to the same picture as the game goes on. So it's important to make sure that our guys understand what we have to do so that we can execute it well, but we also have to do a good job as coaches, giving our guys the best chance by mixing things up a little bit.
In the NFL with really potent passing attacks and great quarterbacks, you'll see 8 and 9 DB formations and packages. Philosophically, why do you think we haven't seen that as much in the college game against opponents who like to pass as much as these guys do?
Well, I think you do. I think in college you see a lot more of the hybrid linebacker too. And I don't think you see, I think it started, even before that, but in 13 and 14 you saw some of these teams in the playoff, a few of those 215-pound outside linebackers that could run with slot receivers, but at the same time play the perimeter screen game, some of the perimeter, the outside runs and tosses and power sweeps. And I think the use of those guys as perimeter players as well as edge rushers gives you some flexibility. So I think you will see some of that, as college football continues to chase the NFL. That's what you see every year, right? Whatever happens in the NFL eventually ends up down in the college ranks. But I think you get most of what you get out of an 8 DB package, you can get it out of your dime stuff. At least we feel we can.
Justin Hollins is leading your team in tackles for loss and sacks. How important will his performance be on Saturday?
Well, it's critical for him and all the guys to play with a tremendous amount of effort. You have to affect the quarterback, but it's more than just the quarterback. I think we all know that when they want to run the ball, they do a very nice job, and they're really big guys. And they know how to catch you. They know that if you're trying to overplay the pass, they will gut you in the run game, and they showed it. They have 2 really good running backs. They might have more, but I've focused and studied 2 of them. So guys like Justin, guys like Jalen Jelks, Jordan, anybody that's in the game, they have to affect the line of scrimmage. And in more ways than just stopping the run, they have to affect the passer. They have to redirect and chase down screens. If you get a chance to watch these guys on tape, their screen game is pretty extensive. The retracing defensive lineman is just as important as the guy covering it. So there's a lot of, they stretch in a lot of different ways. And you know what? Our guys have seen a lot of football, and they play against a lot of different stuff when we play against them in practice. So overall, I think they're going to be prepared for the challenge.
What kind of atmosphere do you expect there with game day and small town, small stadium?
Oh, it'll be wild. I've seen games there before on TV. I haven't been there personally, but I think and it's as you talk in circles and coaching circles, it's a great atmosphere, and it is loud, and that's okay. It's that's what makes college football awesome. It's and obviously it's not part of our processes. The only part of it is that we do practice with noise all week, knowing that just being able to communicate verbally is going to be difficult. So, but for us, it's just process as usual.
For you, Holland starting again, and what do you do with a first-year DB who's playing in Washington State for the first time and that kind of offense for the first time?
Trust your rules. It's still going to be about making sure that he understands exactly what we're doing as it relates to what they're doing. All those guys are going to play a lot, and they have to. And we're going to have to rotate guys in and out, but their concepts, they'll stress you. They are really good concepts, but at the same time, we have really good defensive concepts, and at some point in time, we have to match up. And he's one of our our better players in the secondary, so he'll see extensive action.
Was there a setback for Austin, or was today a planned maintenance day? Or
Planned maintenance, you know, he did what he had to do with us in practice and then stepped him out for a little bit. So we don't foresee any issues with him.
you'll have to rely on Drayton surely in some capacity one way or another.
I
So
think on
just-
all those guys.
yeah.
I think Sione's getting a bunch of playing time. Sione's getting better and better as well. And Andrew Faliu is another guy that he's right on the cusp of getting a lot of playing time as well. But I think the mixture of all those guys plus putting Jalen inside as well as bouncing him out outside, I think we have more than enough guys that we can rely on.
A year ago, Lana Pelu went down with a major injury.
Yep.
What's it been like seeing him come back, and how important has he been for this defense?
That guy's awesome. It's the best way to put it. Lana is the heart and soul, you know, of this senior class. I mean, he if you watch him play, I mean, he's about 215 pounds. You know, I might be giving him a couple. I might be in full gear, but I mean, the way he strikes blockers and gets separation and finds ways to make plays at the line of scrimmage against just some monstrous individuals, the way he just gets us going in practice, the way he approaches every single workout, the way he's early to meetings, the way he's vocal and the way he pours his heart and soul into this program. He is one of those guys that you must have on your team to be successful. You must. And he was missed last year tremendously. I don't know if enough was made about that. When he wasn't there, that was a huge void, and not only on the defense but on our football team. So having him there, and I always mess with him in that. They tell him, man, if you were 6'6", I'd make you 325 pounds and first round left tackle, man. You've got everything it takes. You know, you've got the heart, the athleticism, but he is, to me, he's one of the better players in the conference for his position.
How was he able to give back to the team while he was injured, and how were you guys able to support him and keep his spirits high?
Yeah, it was a rough time for him, as it is for guys like Cam McCormick right now and Panay Sewell. So we keep everybody engaged. And you have to. It's almost like they become an extra coach. And it does two things. It allows them to step back and assess and analyze their game to see what they can do better. And at the same time, they start to realize, wow, this coaching thing is kind of difficult. I better make sure that, you know, I'm paying attention, our guys are paying attention, because the preparation that goes into it is pretty extensive. But he learned a lot. And you know, we learn as much from our players as we teach them. That's the kind of team that we feel that we have. And he's a guy that I personally have learned a lot from because of just the type of human being he is. I mean, he's exactly what you want your son to grow up to be.
Got time for a couple more.
Back to the
Joe Moore Foundation called you offensive line the most physical offensive line in the country. What's that mean to have that praise on that group? And did you kind of feel like maybe a little ahead of schedule? Because I don't know if people really associated Oregon football before you got here as the most physical offensive line.
Yeah, I really don't have a schedule. I just kind of wake up and go, you know. But as it relates to them, the best way I can address it, and it fits the DNA of what offensive linemen are and what they stand for. To us, any kind of recognition by the Joe Moore Award to me is you can't get a higher honor as an offensive lineman. But that being said, and having, you know, heard that recognition, to me it just tells us we have a ton of work that we have to do and that we have to still get better. And I think our guys took it that exact way. And that's the only way to have, the only kind of mindset we'll ever have as an offensive line is that.
I know you weren't here at the
I know that answer stinks but it really is the mindset. You know, we're in a service, man. I mean, think about it. We grew up and we were probably the last pick, right, as offensive linemen when you had the recess football game, right? No one wanted to pick you. You're probably a little bit heavier than everybody else, which is fine, but we just never got to run routes. We had to sit there and block. Well, we love it. It's part of our DNA, and you know, but those guys and Coach Mirabal and Coach Whittle, they know that there's a lot of meat on the bone, so we got to go get it.
Herbert's been advocating for Throckmorton to play receiver, saying that yesterday.
Good luck.
I know you weren't here at the time to recruit Shane, but for a guy to leave that state and a family who loves the Cougars, how important has that been, and how important is building more in that state on the recruiting trail in general?
There's great football in the state of Washington, you know, and anything on the West Coast for us, we're going to recruit it and consider us as part of our home state. So we recognize the great football that's played there, and for us, it's really important to recruit.
From a defensive standpoint, what's more important, getting that pass rush or actually, you know, not letting their receivers get separation from your DBs?
It's important just to get the ball back, whether it be turnover on downs or forcing the turnover. It's a combination of both, because it's all dictated by the type of coverage you play. So that's kind of a tough one to answer. You know, you're going to have to sometimes give a cushion and sometimes be ready to play underneath it. Sometimes force pressure and force that ball out quicker and play it tight. Sometimes, you know, mix it up, disguise it, and you got to do some things that are a little bit different, you know.
Back to the environment.
Can't give you the game plan.
Back to the environment, Mary. You were at Bama when game day went the first time to Oxford, and I know the outcome is not what you wanted, but is that?
When you remind me of the kick six earlier, now you reminded me of the Oxford thing. You got any other bad memories in my life you want to bring up while we're up here? How about when I got shot down for prom 5 times? You want to bring that up?
But I'm sure you hope this is not a comparable situation, but
oh, I don't think of it like that at all. I don't. I mean, that's not even part of our equation. I don't. It's just not. I'm sorry. You know.
How about the prom declines?
That's not part of the equation either. But Jessica said yes. That's all that matters.